Hello, my little crafty crafters. Welcome to the first Monday of Creative Mondays. How are we all doing on this Monday? I hope everyone's okay, as I know Monday's not one of our favourite days, is it? But yes, today we're going to be building a few houses like the ones behind me. And we're just going to give these houses characters, aka villagers, and we're going to give them a few little backstories. We're going to try not to get too involved with it, but I feel like I will. So anyways, I hope you enjoy. Sit back, relax, get cozy and get comfy, because this is going to be one weird episode. Anyways, getting right into it, I logged into the world and ran around for a bit, loaded up my map, thought it was all cool, and went to grab some blocks, not realising I was in survival. I was like, hey, where are all of my blocks? What the fuck? I then realised and switched into creative. What a wonderful experience that was, of just pure confusion for God knows how long. But yeah, I eventually switched it into creative. It was a very long process because it just took forever to load. But in the end we got it, and I got all of my blocks. So yes, but today we're going to be starting a creative world where we're going to build a few things like houses, and all these houses are going to have different villagers living in them, and all these villagers are going to have like backstories, because I personally find that quite funny that they all have backstories. And I mean, the backstories are going to be absolutely horrendous, like someone's cheating on someone with the neighbour, and this is the neighbour that they're cheating. In every episode it's going to get a little bit more, so it's basically going to be like a drama, but I'm building the village where the drama takes place at the same time. So I started with trying to outline just a house. I've got a rough basic one that I made when I was like 12 that I always go by, so I decided to start with that and enjoy me building that. Once I finished outlining the house, as you can see here, it was wonky, but my dumbass did not realise. I then decided I wanted to work on the front garden and the road, that would obviously be the road that people drive their cars on. I will say it wasn't the best road I've ever built, but I tried. I also did try a few different variations of building the street first, so there's a bit of me figuring it out and working out the process, and like destroying blocks, placing blocks, destroying blocks, placing blocks, basically destroying and placing blocks. This should be called Break Place, not Minecraft, because I'm not mining and crafting, I'm breaking and placing. But I didn't really like the way these slabs looked. If you can sort of see and understand that just looks a bit dodgy. Does it look a bit dodgy to you? Because it looked a bit dodgy to me. Anyways, let's get into building this road. Once I'd finished the road, I decided to build the little front garden that these people are going to have. Now, these people that live here are going to be like rich people, but they have like really fucked up problems at the same time, if that makes sense. So their houses are going to look lovely, but their lives are not going to be lovely. So yeah, so I did that, and then I began working on the windows. Now, once again, this is a house I designed when I was 12, and this is the basic house design that I always follow. I also got heavily stuck on trying to build this bit here. It was so confusing because I'd accidentally built it wrong, and I'd measured it completely wrong, and I was just so like, what the hell is going on? I fixed it in the end, however, which was quite a nice thing, because otherwise I think I would have lost the plot with it. But it was all sorted and it was all fine. And then I went back to working on the front of the house and making just a nice cutesy small little bay window at the front. I quite like the idea of having a bay window. It gives off, I have money, but I have life problems at the same time. That's the sort of vibe we're going for, and today we're going to be building the Woods house. Basically, their family's last name is the Wood, so the Wood family's house. I then fixed up the garden a bit because it was way too far out. And that is the houses, all nice and sorted. The first floor done. There's the front and there's the back. I then began to work on the living room, so let's jump right into that. So here we have our living room. We have a lovely TV. I love the cabinets. The windowsill was a bit difficult and like the sides behind the TV, but hey ho, that's fine. I meant the sofa there, sorry. But I really do love the cabinets in there. I'm really proud of myself for that. And then for the kitchen, I decided we should do a nice little checkered floor, but that took forever. So that's the floor looking lovely. And then I tried to furnish it and I was very confused, but I once again used the trapdoors for the cabinets, and I actually really liked using the trapdoors for the cabinets, but I'm going for a very white theme here. So this is going to be like a very bright white, posh looking little house, but secretly the family have many secrets that the world cannot know. I will say I am just making all of this up because I think it's funny. Honestly, it is funny. What are you on about? From there, I then decided to work on getting the upstairs sorted, so that way it could be a fully functioning house. I was originally going to do the downstairs of this house and the downstairs of next door at the same time, but I wanted to work on this house being fully finished first before I worked on to the next one. And I think that was probably the best choice because that means now we have our first functioning family. So I built the stairs as a way up there because, I mean, how else are you going to get up there? There's no way I can build a lift in Minecraft. I'd need about 17 tutorials to go through first. But yeah, I just started by outlining the entire floor with oak wood, just so I could lay down like a base layer of what the rooms would look like. So that way I know how much space I've got, what I can fit into these rooms, how much detail and design effort I can put into these. And I will say I do have a favourite room. I'm not saying just yet, but I have a favourite room. And I think you're all going to be very shocked with what is going to happen within these rooms. But as we get into building the rooms, whilst building them, I'll give you the backstory of the characters who live in that room, if that makes sense. But anyways, to building a floor and a floor plan. Once that was completed, I was quite happy with it. We had a bathroom and 3 bedrooms all happily laid out. So first off, I began working on the bathroom. It's a very basic, very simple design. I did just a small bath, a sink and a toilet, very simple, and I also gave it the tinted windows. And then we move on to the first bedroom. This is going to be the weird, cringy teenager bedroom, if that makes sense. You know how you've always got that family and they've got that one weird teenager who's not quite right in the head? That's going to be their room. And obviously, they're going to have a little bit of a queer name, because why not? Personally, this is my favourite bedroom. I absolutely love this room and I would so live in it. I then went to work on the barriers for the stairs. And I've never actually used fence gates for something like this, but I thought it really helped in like, what's the word? I have no idea what word I'm looking for is, but I felt like it really helped give off the rich people vibe, if that makes sense. I then went to work on the parents' bedroom. Now, they have special friends that they see all the time because their marriage is failing, but to the outside world, nobody knows that because they're a perfect, happy little couple. They're really not. And this is the spoilt little daughter who knows about everything and mommy and daddy's special little friends, and she gets one of everything. So I built a little play place out of stairs, and I am actually really happy with how the play place came out. I then decided to give her a pet axolotl, but it had to be pink, so some murders were committed. I'm not happy with it, I promise. I then also decided to name a fish because I thought it'd be funny that like Squishy, the axolotl, had a pet fish in with her, but the pet fish didn't live because that's just not how it works. And then from there, I finished off the roofs. It did take a while, but once all of the rooms had been done, I could finally name all the villagers. So let's get to roofing. So, once the roof was finished and the whole house was completed, I decided to give my villagers names. So the mum of this family is going to be called Mary Wood. You'd think she's innocent, but she's really not. And then the dad is going to be named Tony Wood, because if anybody is called Tony watching this, I'm sorry, but Tony just gives me the dad who beats the shit out of everyone vibes. I'm sorry, I can't help it, but like, that's just the vibe it gives me. And then for the little girl, I named her Sally. And then for the awkward teenager, I named him Kai because I felt like that was really like cool, if that makes sense. So yeah, here is the house with all of its people living in it. I will say I hadn't built a garden yet, and I'm very annoyed that I forgot the garden. But here is the house. I personally really love it. I also decided that the road was going to be called Chester Road. I'm not sure why I let them live at number 17 for. Couldn't tell you where that number came from, to be honest. Couldn't really care. But yeah, 17 Chester Road. And I decided to just get rid of the sign. I actually flew all the way out for it. But here's a little tour of 17 Chester Road. You come in through the front door. You've got this lovely long hallway. Here's the living room. Ignore the anvil. You've got a TV, a sofa, some living room cupboards. A nice, cosy, posh little feel. In the kitchen, it's more of a get shit done feel. It's got the stuff you need to cook and everything. And they're more of an ingredients household. They're not really a snacky household. They're more of an ingredients household. And this is the unfinished garden. This is Tony staring up at the house, regretting his life choices about marrying into this psychotic family. And there's Mary, and that other villager there is Kai. I will say Sally just completely went missing, and this was me majoritarily looking for her because I thought she would be in the kitchen. She wasn't. She wasn't with the rest of the family. So, hey ho, let's go check upstairs. The first room we have is Sally's room. She has a dead pet fish called Levi, a pet called Callie, and an axolotl called Squishy. A massive playhouse from her parents who don't want them to tell each other of their special friends. And then here's the parents' bedroom. It's very simple, boring, basic, because most of the time, Tony and Mary don't sleep in there together. One sleeps in the living room. And then here we have the bathroom. You've got a nice black bathtub, which is quite nice. And I like that about the bathroom. And then here we have Kai's bedroom, which I think is the coolest room out of all of them. You've got this cool little wardrobe looking thing. You've got a desk. And you've got an armor stand, which could be like a creative project he's working on, which I thought was quite cool, to be fair. And then we have the garden. Now, this is obviously Mary's flowers, and you cannot touch Mary's flowers, whatever you do. Thank you all for watching the first Creative Monday. How exciting. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you to everyone who liked and commented last time. Absolutely appreciate it. Think it's fantastic. And thank you for supporting me on this journey to build a weird and wacky creative world. I hope you have a splendid day and it carries on as fantastic as it can be. I have shit to do, so I'm gonna go do that.